This is my niece, Celeste. The earliest memory I have of Celeste is when she was little, she would try to bite me.
Okay.
What's your earliest memory of me?
My earliest memory of you was going over to your house and always visiting your mom with my grandma. And I remember you always had like a bunch of iPads and like computers, and
Hide the money, y'all. There's poor people around.
I was like always so like in shock about how many like stuff you collected in your room and like all the posters you would have. Like it was just like really cool to me.
She's right. That's insane. So my first question I have for you is it better to date a lot of people before you get married so you become experienced in an intimate relationship?
I think that it is important for people to branch out and find what they like and what they don't like before they settle down with their lifelong partner.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if they don't, then the relationship wouldn't work out because one would be more experienced in what they like and don't like, and the other wouldn't be.
How much is a lot of people before you date a guy? Like if he's like, I dated 10 people before you, is that a lot?
I would say that is going overboard. I feel like maybe at the most 4 or 3 or 4 or 5 would, because obviously you can't really like control how many people you date.
That's true.
Before you meet your person, but I feel like 10 is overdoing it.
Okay. What do you think is the magic number? You said 4, right?
Yeah.
4. Do you follow any gender rules? Like in my case, I don't know how to cook. You know, my dad, he said that men shouldn't know how to cook, that the wife can do all that.
I'm about to make some food real quick, right? But my oven's been acting a little weird.
So do you follow any gender rules like that? Like, I don't know, like, do you know how to work on a car or something that a guy would know how to do?
I don't think I follow any gender rules. Like when like you mentioned, like when it comes to cars and stuff, like I really don't know how to do that, or like fixing, how to explain this.
Do you know how to cook?
My dad works on tile. Like if he asked me to help him to fix the tile with him or like measure stuff out, like I have a hard time doing that.
Okay, my mom's the same way. I taught her this weekend how to use a ruler. I have always been a short king. I'm 5'7.5", but I say that I'm 5'8". What was it like being taller than the rest of the guys at your school? Because I know girls grow faster than guys do.
I've always been the tallest. I would say that a lot of people see me as like so different, and I feel like I just feel more confident because more people like say, oh, I wish I had your height, or I wish I was as tall as you, or like you're so pretty and you're so tall, like I wish I had your height. Like it boosts my confidence, my ego a little bit.
Would teachers tell you to play basketball or like any kind of sports?
Volleyball.
Okay.
I feel like that's something that people go to more, and like I feel like I would enjoy playing.
Do you have to be tall to play volleyball?
Yeah,
Okay.
because you have to be tall to play and stuff.
I've never played, so I don't know anything about sports. I'm asking you a personal question now. I don't know anything about periods.
I know a lot of things, but I don't know about that. I'm not sure why.
Whatsoever. I recently found out about, what is it, blood clots? Yeah, blood clots. What was your first period like? Were you scared? Or were you like, whatever about it?
My first period wasn't anything crazy. I was in school, and my mom has like taught me, and like my mom's always been open with me about periods and like growing up and puberty. So I wasn't scared about it, but the only thing that did scare me was when I was in school and I was wearing white pants. So I panicked a little bit, but I remember what my mom told me and what to do, so I felt more calm.
The cameraman woman, she got her period during, what was it? Dog days?
Yeah.
Orientation. Were you wearing white pants too?
No, but I was wearing a skirt.
She was wearing a skirt. That happened out of nowhere. Amazing. So there's this thing that says that like boys are more aggressive than girls. Do you think boys are more aggressive or girls are more aggressive?
I feel like boys are more aggressive and girls could be aggressive once they get to that point because girls are more emotional. I would say the girls are more emotional, but they have more control over their feelings than guys do. When guys lash out, then it's really no stopping them. But when girls lash out, it takes a certain point for them to. So I feel like guys are more aggressive.
Okay, I like that. I know you have a large family. I have a large family too. Do you want to have a large family in the future?
I think I already experienced what a large family is, so I wouldn't want a large family myself in the future. But I would want a small family, like family of 4 or 3, but not too much.
That's big for me. Would you be in charge of protecting them from danger, or would you like rely on your sons, like if they're teenagers, or like on the husband, or like how would that work out?
I feel like I would be protective of them, and I would be able to, since I am the oldest and I always have like a responsibility to take care of my siblings. I feel like when it comes to a family, I would still have that in me to take care of them.
Okay. So in my class, we learned about this thing called the imaginary audience. It's where you develop this way to imagine what others are thinking about you, like subconsciously, like about how you look, what you say, and how you act. When did you experience this?
I would say when I was in elementary school, as I mentioned, I've always been the tallest, and at the beginning, I've always questioned like, why am I so different from everyone else? Everyone else is like the same height. And I felt self-conscious about my height for a little bit, but as I grew up, I grew to love how tall I am and how different I am, and I feel like it grew on me.
Okay. I only think about that when I'm like out in public and there's a bunch of tall people and I'm the shortest. I always think of like they're talking crap about
Yeah,
me.
whenever I'm the tallest out of short people, I'm like, okay, maybe this is a little too much. But
No, I am thinking that. If I see you and you're taller than me, I am thinking that. So it's not in your mind. Do you think self-esteem matters in getting farther in life, or is there something else that matters more?
I feel like self-esteem does matter, but what would take you farther in life would be the confidence that you have, because if you have no confidence, then there's really no
Like drive?
Yeah, you really just doubt yourself and it doesn't get you anywhere but in a negative space.
What is your relationship like with your siblings?
I would say I have a good relationship with my siblings.
Mm-hmm.
Me and my brother are really close. We're only like 2 years apart, and I would say I'm really close to him. I grew up with him, and he's always been there with me through everything. And with my little sister, I've always wanted a little sister. And we're 10 years apart, so sometimes we have our arguments, but I would say we have a really good relationship.
Do you think you're both of their caregiver? Like, tú siempre los estás cuidando, or do you think they're pretty like independent from you?
I feel like my brother used to be like that with me. Like we would always do things together, and he would depend on me for some things. Because my brother is very shy, so I feel like I would have to be his voice.
Mm-hmm.
But as he grew up, and he's a teenager now, I feel like he's grown to have his own voice, so I don't have to hold his hand as much. And with my little sister, she's very outgoing, so I feel like she's dependent on her own already.
Okay. Where do you argue the most with your mom?
Me and my mom are like the same person, so I feel like we do have conflicts sometimes and we tend to argue. But what I would say we tend to argue about the most is like when it comes to clothes. Like me and my mom are the same size in like almost everything, so when we argue, it's mostly about like borrowing each other's clothes.
Okay. Me and Juana used to have that problem, but we're not the same waist size anymore, so she can't borrow my clothes. What do you argue the most with your dad?
With my dad, I tend to argue the most with him about probably going out and being more lenient towards me, because my dad is very like old school and like he's very like like man of the house. So
Okay.
he follows the old school rules and like you can't go out unless you do this, or no, you go out too much, or stuff like that. Or like if I'm wearing something that he thinks is too revealing, he's like, go change.
Long hair over there. I thought she was naked at first.
Oh my God, yes!
Right?
Yes! Look at her.
You can't be showing too much.
That's how my dad is too. So I
Yeah.
can't go out. Like if I visit them, he doesn't like me going out, but I still do. So this one's like more about friends and peers. Would you rather spend a day at the beach with your family or with your friends?
I feel like I would spend a day at the beach with my friends since I'm always with my family, and like I feel like having time to make memories with my friends would be more meaningful, and I could be myself more without having to hold back a little bit.
Why'd you pick them to be your friends? Like the people that are your friends right now, why did you pick them to be your friends?
I feel like since I am a teenager and I am maturing and growing up and branching out from my family, and the people I surround myself more and talk to more are my friends, so I feel more comfortable with them and like at peace.
Okay. It's kind of like an outlet from your family.
Yeah.
So now we're going to talk about breakups. What was the reason you've broken up with someone?
With my first boyfriend, I broke up with him because we both went to different schools and we were both in two different places since we were together for almost 3 years. We were small kids and like we thought we had everything planned out. And then growing up, going to high school, going to different schools, we both had different mindsets and we didn't have time for each other and we were just in two different places. So I feel like we matured away from each other.
That's sad. So I'm gonna give you 5 topics and you can tell me which one is the most important when you're looking for a man and which one is the least important. So, dependable, mature, good looking, neatness, or he's a virgin.
Are there any virgins amongst us today? Clap. Clap. You're a virgin? Ma'am.
Which one is the least important to you?
I think the least important to me would be if he's a virgin because, as I mentioned, like in relationships, you have to experience what you like before you meet your person. So obviously branching out and having that intimacy with other people is what's going to get you into a happy relationship.
Which one do you think is the most important? Is it the dependability, him being mature, good looking, or neat?
I think the maturity, because maturity leads with dependable and with self-confidence, and I feel like I would not be able to be with someone who's how would I explain, like insecure with themselves, not secure with themselves.
Okay. Or like they don't have like goals for their future.
Yeah, exactly.
What are your thoughts on people who work and go to high school? I didn't work while I was in high school, so you can say all you want.
Get your fucking ass up and work. It seems like nobody wants to work these days.
Our cameraman, she worked her whole senior year and she regrets it. But what do you think about people who work and go to high school?
I feel like people who work and go to high school, it shows that they want something so they do it, and that they're like independent because they don't need anyone to help them and they have themselves, and it's setting them a good example for the future. But then at the same time, it does take away from their high school experience. So I feel like they're just overworking themselves, but it's still a good way to show that they're preparing for their future.
A camera woman agrees with you. If you could participate or even make your own community service program, what would it be? Mine would be like to help homeless people because there's so many in Fresno. But what would yours be?
Mine would probably be to help out maybe
Like
women shelters, maybe, because I feel like a lot of women who are out in the streets lack how do I say it, like hygiene. They lack good hygiene, and especially because menstruational like products are very expensive and they have a hard time reaching or getting access to that. So I feel like I would help out women shelters.
Okay, I like that. I didn't think about that. I have 2 last questions. So, what is your favorite social media app?
My favorite social media app would probably be TikTok. I feel like I could do everything on there. I could look at videos, text my friends, and then videos, and make and post myself. So I feel like it's an all-in-one app that I spend most of my time on.
Is Snapchat dead?
Yes, I think Snapchat is really dead. People usually don't like post on there, and if they do, it's just like on their private stories, or if they text people, it's like their close friends. But it's pretty much dead at this point.
Do you use Be Real?
No, I used to use Be Real, but I think it's dead too. Like it was hyped up for a little bit, and then it just kind of died out, and it's just kind of useless now.
I have all those apps. Which one do you think people are most addicted to?
TikTok. I feel like people are really addicted to TikTok. Like I see so many people from everywhere on TikTok, and all my cousins when we're at family events, they're always on TikTok. And I feel like it's just something everyone's on. Even my older cousins or my tias or my grandma, my grandpa are even on TikTok themselves. So I feel like it's something a lot of people spend their time on.
How do you think we could solve that problem, like of the addiction that social media has caused?
I feel like not a lot of people go outside anymore or like spend time with their families. So I feel like if maybe we just had it would be so bad enough just to take away their like their phones or computers or whatever, and just put it aside and like have to take them out and like, you know, spend time with them and like show them how fun it is outside of all the social media.
Are the Kardashians still relevant?
Honestly, after the whole Bad Bunny thing with who was it?
I think it was
Kendall Jenner?
Kendall. Yeah, Kendall.
Yeah.
My name is Kendall.
With Kendall Jenner, I hate the Kardashians because they're literally mean girls. Especially after what they did with Selena Gomez and making fun of her, they're canceled. I don't think they're relevant no more.
Are you Team Selena or Team Haley?
I'm Team Selena all the way.
Me too. Who is who's like the next Kardashians now that they're out of the picture?
The next Kardashians, maybe. Well, I've been seeing a lot about like Charli D'Amelio and her family coming out and like making shows on Netflix and like always on like Nickelodeon and like on TV, and she's a really big part of TikTok too for little kids. So I feel like her and her family might be the next Kardashian.
I have them all blocked. I don't like Charli D'Amelio. I
don't like them either.
I blocked if they dance on my For You page. I blocked them. That's not my cup of tea. I'm gonna give you some popular words, and I want you to tell me if like y'all still use them or if you don't. Tea.
Yeah, I still use it.
Yeah. What's another one? What was it? I can't remember the other ones.
Period.
Period.
That one's kind of dying out, but I still use it here and there.
Wig.
No,
No.
that's so cringy. I think that's cringy.
Cringy. Do y'all still use that?
Yeah, I use that a lot.
I heard, at least in Fresno, infatuation. So instead of saying you're obsessed with something, you say you're infatuated. Is that a thing in Porterville? No?
I don't think so.
No.
Side eye.
Side eye.
Yes, I say that to all my cousins all the time.
How do you use that?
Like, if my cousin says something that's like weird or like out of pocket or just kind of like questionable, I look at them and I'm like, side eye.
What's bombastic side eye?
I feel like bombastic side eye is like an exaggeration of whenever they say something that's like way too far, or whenever it's just kind of weird or way too weird, or like they just do too much. I'm like, bombastic side eye.
Okay. Who is your dream blunt rotation?
My dream blunt rotation? It would probably be my tia Lochis, maybe my mom, my two closest friends, Snoop Dogg and who would be the last person? I don't know. Maybe my tia Juanita.
We're gonna leave room for Jesus Christ in there. People use music to cope with their issues. How do you cope with your issues?
The way I cope with my issues would probably be by listening to music. I like to listen to music by putting my AirPods in and like maybe cleaning up my room, doing some homework or missing assignments, just to get my mind off of things. And music helps me a lot with it. So,
Who's your favorite artist?
my favorite artist would probably be either I've been really into Spanish, but when I'm like feeling like down, I go to like SZA or Kaliuchi.
Okay, I only know like two SZA songs, and that's Kill Bill and Drew Barrymore.
I like Drew Barrymore. That's probably one of my top favorite songs too.
And that's all of our questions. So yeah, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
And I'll buy you coffee for this. Thanks.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Woo!
Do I end it?
Yeah.
Okay.